I always want to start with "Wake up, San Francisco." It just feels like it's in my bones. I probably
Feels
watch
appropriate.
way too many Full House episodes.
Is that a trademarked thing that you might
It
have to
likely
pay for?
is.
Yeah,
I
so
probably do.
don't do
$4
that.
goes to Becky and Jesse.
Can't do that.
How is it going being wives? And do you feel like, because I feel like when I first got married, I'd always like be like, my boyfriend, I mean, my husband. Do you feel like you're doing that where you catch yourself?
Yeah, a little bit. I think for me, I feel really showy saying wife.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm like, oh, my wife.
Like,
It's
look at all the money I have.
yeah.
I have a wife.
Exactly. I can
Costs
afford
2 goats.
Exactly. Yeah, like I always, and that's how I felt about fiance too, because fiance
Really?
kind of has that, like, I don't know, it has that silly
It's like
accent
a
on it. It's fancy.
Ooh,
So.
yeah, what is that thing? But it's like
I
a
don't know.
step up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, not only am I in a serious relationship, I'm in a serious
like
relationship.
really serious, so much that now we're spending our lives together, serious, and the law recognizes it type stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very
Insurance.
Mm.
I feel like in the beginning, it was hard for me to like say wife and have it come naturally. But I think now it's a little bit better.
Mhm.
And I think the first times when I would like refer to her as my wife, it was like to a coworker, and I was like, that was the first time I referred to her as my wife. That's pretty cool.
And then you do like a little Snoopy dance.
Yeah.
And Johanna actually changed her name, so it was always so weird to see, because I see the J and then Berkshire like on Facebook or something, and she posts something. I'm like, who the heck is that? Like, oh, it's my wife.
Is this a cousin?
Yeah, exactly. It was just so weird to see my
what
name.
cousin do I have with a J name?
Exactly. Yep.
That's so cool. Okay, how did you decide like who was gonna take whose name? Because I feel like that's kind of difficult for anyone to decide. And episode 9, the couple I interviewed, they took each other's last name, which works because it's Engel Olsen, which is the name of their business.
Okay.
Meeker Stafford sounds stupid, like an eraser. Like, so like, how do you? And your names are long.
They're both very long. Yeah.
So Berkstaller,
yeah.
I don't know how to say your last name. Wouldn't be great.
No, so that's what we were thinking. We're like, okay, well, we knew we wanted the same last name.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, well, maybe we'll hyphenate it. It'd be Berkstaller Gerkink. No, that's too much.
Too much.
Poor kids.
Our children.
Mouthful.
And then Gerkink Berkstaller, same thing. And so then we were like, well, maybe we can create a new last name and kind of merge our names. But then it would be,
Not better.
Berkink, Gerkstaller.
They're
so
not
it's
better.
just not good. So then,
Out of the two, we kind of decided that mine, even though people still really mess up saying my last name, they'll add like an EN in there, like Birkenstock or like Birkenstaller or Birkenstocker.
They like try to make you super German.
Yeah. And so we decided, out of the two, Gerkink was a little bit, when people see it, they're a little bit more like,
I just don't-
like,
how do I do the G?
how do I say this? Yeah.
Okay.
and I was just
So-
a little bit,
Mhm.
I really didn't mind. So
Yeah.
we just ultimately decided
Yeah.
just go
Berkshire.
with Berkstaller.
Kudos.
Yeah.
And you mailed in your marriage license.
Yes. Sure did.
I feel like that actually is a part that people just kind of gloss over.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And they're like, oh, yeah, whatever, someone will take care. No, who's mailing it
No,
in?
Yeah.
Because you
like-
have like 2 to 5 days.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not legal.
Otherwise, you paid all that money for nothing.
Yes. And actually, I can't remember who it is, but they forgot to mail theirs in.
Oh,
So
no.
they're
Oh
like,
my
yeah,
gosh.
we just had to re-fake our wedding.
Oh my goodness.
And like just get someone, it's
Oh,
like
sure.
just a phrase you have to
Yeah.
say
Sure,
and then
yeah.
sign with witnesses. But
That's so silly.
I
But
know.
yeah, I'm so glad that we remembered that.
Yes, I put it in the envelope.
Yes, you did. Yeah, and we found it.
Mail.
I think it was
this.
by all of our cards, which had money in them, so it was easy to see it. We're like, oh,
Important.
where's the money? Oh, there's that marriage license.
And that only matters because Cameron
yeah.
did a great job,
Oh, I
but isn't a
know.
professional
Yeah.
officiant.
Oh, he did
so
so good.
he's not like, oh, I do this every weekend.
Yeah,
No,
I'll just
he doesn't
mail
talk
that
like
right
that.
in. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Oh, I'll do this. I don't know how to do Cameron voice.
I don't even.
I do this every weekend.
Yeah, I think that's deeper
is the
than
next-
his voice even.
This is the next process.
Exactly. Yeah.
So since you had a friend do it,
Mhm.
you just had to be a little more mindful.
Yes.
That
And he was so
you
on
need to
top
get
of
this.
things. It was so funny. Cameron, I love Cameron, but he had never used the mail before. Never used the U.S. Postal Service.
What?
I don't know. He said he's too afraid, or he doesn't understand it. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
like he personally had never
Personally
mailed.
had never
No
mailed
pen
anything.
pal?
No.
Am I dating myself? Is he younger than me? He's never written a letter like to
yeah,
your
he's my
senator.
age.
You send letters to senators.
I think
in the-
I'm not
school?
sure. I'm not sure, honestly.
Shoot.
But
No.
I guess maybe as an adult he had never mailed
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
So
on his own.
It was kind of like when we had to get him registered as the officiant.
Yeah.
and, you know, he lives in Colorado, so it's not like he can just go stop on by the, you know, the county building or whatever. So I had to convince him that everything was going to be okay. I was like, no, I promise you, if you put this in the envelope and you write this on it, it will get there. It will. And, you know, and it was one of those things where, like, if I wasn't in the middle of planning everything else, I would have been like, oh, fine, I'll do it. Just fax it to me and I'll mail it. Don't worry about it.
So many
I just really needed him to do it. And he was like, okay, I'll do that. I will face my fear and I will mail this piece of mail.
That's cute. I also wanted to talk about how you guys picked your officiant, because you knew you didn't want to go with like a professional service, someone that didn't know you, right?
Yeah, exactly. We wanted it to be really more personal.
I mean, I think we wanted it to be not a super religious ceremony, and then we also didn't want to just like pick a random person who didn't know us that we just paid to.
You read their bio online, you're like, they sound like they like cats.
Right.
Let's go with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so we went with Cameron. He's just like an all-around really great friend and really on top of things, and he's super personable. We knew that he'd just like handle it really well.
That he would do great. Yeah. And he's actually, I've known him since 5th grade.
Right.
But I moved in 8th grade to South Dakota from Colorado, and we probably lost touch for about, I don't know, a little while. Maybe in high school we just added each other on Facebook. I don't know who did what, but it had been a long time. And then we were randomly going to go to Colorado because she had never been there, and I wanted to show her where I grew up and everything. And I thought, I'll just message Cameron and see if he wants to get together, because I'd really liked him. I remember always liking him, and he was so over the moon about it and so just gracious. He let us stay with him. We spent 2 days with him. We stayed at his mom's house. She made us breakfast and dinner. It was just, you felt instantly just so close to him.
Yeah.
He's just a really, really genuine, kind, compassionate person. So we had this instant connection with him. We actually spent Christmas with him after that, and it was just great. So I think it meant a lot to have him be our officiant.
It was a good fit for you guys.
Yeah.
Because I feel like same. We had a really good family friend officiate our wedding, and it was kind of like, well, how do we pick that person? I don't know. We weren't really like, we just hadn't looked for an officiant yet. And then we were in Bozeman, which is, I feel like I'm going to say Montana is similar to Colorado. We're just going to go with it.
Sure, yeah.
And we were in the car and like talking about wedding stuff. And I was like, you should officiate our wedding because you know both of us. And there's not a lot of people that know both my husband and I that wouldn't have been like close family or like in the wedding party.
Right.
You know? Right. Kind of narrows it down.
Yeah. No,
and then somebody that you know that would like be able to handle it, be able to be in front of like a really large
like
crowd,
not be scared to like talk in front of people.
Yeah,
because that's kind of, I've never had that, but I can imagine it's not like the best when your officiant gets up and is like,
they're getting married.
Stuff's happening. Right. Hear the music. They're like, there's no music for this part.
Stop.
Like,
you're supposed to like talk.
Like, this is where you say, do you? And they say, I do.
Exactly. And he did such a good job.
Is there one thing that you guys had for your wedding that you think everyone should have for theirs besides love?
I say a Josie Stafford.
Yeah. Here's your
but like,
thank you.
No, but like for real though, when we were we just went to the wedding fair, and we were kind of thinking about wanting to have a wedding planner. Weren't really sure. Like, I don't know. And then I'm just so glad that we were able to have one, because like if we were to go back, like there's no way.
I totally kind of want to cry. I feel like it was just like kind of really, like fate, and it worked out. Like I was just super excited.
Yeah, it worked.
Because I
perfectly.
announced like the winner when I was going on vacation, so then it was like a great way to start vacation, because you responded immediately with like,
oh my gosh, yeah, you have no idea. We were so excited. Well, I just feel like we really just like clicked with you. We talked with you for maybe 10 minutes tops at the wedding fair. And I felt like we were hogging your time, and you were like, no, my
like,
time is your time. And I was, wow, like you just treated us so special. And but really, we don't have really big families, and we didn't want it to be a burden for anybody to have to help us coordinate the day of.
Right.
And so to have a day of coordinator was just, oh my gosh, I don't know how we would have done it. Even just the rehearsal. I wouldn't know how to run a rehearsal.
Seriously.
And Cameron has never done it. Yeah. Cameron's never done it. So how would he know how to run it? It seemed like, I mean, it was a lifesaver, honestly. And she's not paying me to say this.
Okay, so everyone should have a day of coordinator, but besides that.
Okay, besides, and not just a day of coordinator, a Josie. Yeah.
With 6 months events and planning, www.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. I mean, I
think like the biggest thing is to just find things that that just will make you really happy. Like really just little things, like we had beanbag toss.
Yeah, I love
that. We, painted and
you guys made them.
We made them.
I mean, we didn't
we bought the boards.
We bought the boards.
I was gonna make the boards, and then I
Johanna
realized
was like, you're crazy.
Yeah, basically, like I also made these window boxes outside of our house, and I thought that was gonna be so easy, and I had a mental breakdown. So then I think when I was like, oh, I'll just make these boards, she was like, no, you're not making the boards. Not when there's so much other stuff that we have to plan, and you're already heightened stress-wise. No way. I'm not letting you do that. And it was just easier. And it actually, I think, ended up costing less money to just buy them.
Yeah, that's a big caveat is that a lot of times you think DIY is going to save you money, and it doesn't always.
No,
and maybe you save like $20, and it's like, would you rather just pay that $20?
Yeah, would you pay $20 to have it professionally made? Yes, I would. I would definitely do that. So, but yeah, so we had
just like little fun things like that. Like we put like Katya and Adore Delano.
Yeah, how did you get them on the board?
And
I never asked you.
So we bought
Mod Podge.
Yeah, we bought posters, and then we just cut out the silhouette.
Yeah, we bought posters. Yeah, and then you put the Mod Podge over it, and we got the outdoor one. So it's waterproof, and it dries. Although like the Lady Gaga, so we had Lady Gaga against Beyonce.
Yeah.
Then we had Katya versus Adore, and our favorite drag queens, and then our favorite just queens, Lady Gaga and Beyonce. So the Lady Gaga poster, you could tell it was like a thinner material, so it was a little bit like kind of wrinkled a little bit.
Yeah,
and it was a little bit more faded. That's cool. We noticed.
But
everyone, all the other ones, and then I did all the lettering. Johanna did, I think, the Lady Gaga lettering. She was gonna do the Adore Delano lettering, and she started having a mental breakdown. How ironic is that? And so then I finished up all the lettering.
Yeah. The letters were with like construction paper? Or
no, I painted them.
Oh,
I drew them on with a pencil.
Yeah.
So I could erase it and like fix it, and then I painted over it. And it took a long time. That was probably a whole afternoon that we painted and
they're
made
stellar.
Them. Yeah. Now they're just in our basement hanging out.
Yeah. Every time we do laundry, we just say hi to them.
Hey, babe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, really though. She's the first one I see when I walk down. She's right there.
When you should put them down, and then when you have like a random sock, you should
just toss it in there. Exactly. We should do that. Just make a game out of it.
You had the cornhole, but then you had a million other personalized things. And like if I were saying something that if I was answering my own question, I would say like that you should personalize your wedding and make it yours and really do away with the things that you don't want. Don't just do them because it's tradition or because you think, oh, my mom wants me to, or grandma will be disappointed if, and just really think about the things that have meaning to you, because I feel like a wedding is really a showcase of your relationship and your personalities together.
For sure.
So if you have like cake and you're like, we don't even like cake,
why'd
you have cake
exactly
then?
So we had ice cream instead.
Yes.
We had Izzy's ice cream because that's where we had our first date.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Did you do pictures at Izzy's ever?
No, we didn't.
No, just wondering.
It was summer and there's too many people there. What? Professional photos? No. Oh, that's okay. I mean, there's too many people around.
Because you went to that park with Alyssa.
Yep.
And then the other ones were at Stone Bridge.
No, they were at. Oh, the other ones. Yeah, Yep. And then, but we also went to Sweet Hollow Park with Alyssa also. Okay. And then we did go to the Stone Arch Bridge area, like St. Anthony, Maine. Yeah. With my friend, a former coworker. Yeah. Who offered to do some engagement photos for us.
Yeah, I love that.
Sophia Noldi. Photography.
I'll put a link in the show notes.
Sounds good.
I like that. That's great. Do you feel like, so I didn't help you with planning. I mean, maybe a little, like you'd ask me questions and I responded.
You helped so much. But you're not giving yourself enough credit. You were keeping us on track. We were having freakouts and you would just be like, no, it's not really that big of a deal. And I think when we first met with you, we had only our venue. And you're like, okay, here's more to do.
So?
You also need to do these things like immediately. What's wrong with you?
I think you had ideas.
Yeah, we had ideas.
We think we're going to ask a friend to do this. And we think we're going to ask a friend to do this. And then I was like, so ask.
Do it. Yeah. we had like not even sent out the save the dates. You're like, yeah, no, in the next month I need you to do that. Okay.
And is that like obviously
it was helpful.
It was
so
helpful because I
Yeah.
feel like the biggest thing going into planning this wedding, it's like, it's great. Like, okay, we're gonna plan a wedding. Now it's like, well, where do
What
we
do we
start?
do?
Yeah, and there's so many elements to it, and so many like, well, when do we do this? When do we do that? And you can buy all the books you want, but like,
Yeah. Oh, we have
that's
so
not
many,
really-
so many books.
I feel like because this is the season, it's kind of like tax help. Like you can read about it, but if you
Sure.
have like an accountant that's like, and this is a deductible, then you're
100%.
like, okay, great, I feel confident.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great
like,
analogy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like you can read about it, but sometimes just having someone who's actually like doing the things and
Yeah.
seeing the things and knows the things.
Yeah, and like the books might prioritize things that we didn't really care that much about, and you were
Right.
able to say, okay, you don't care
This
about
is your
that, do this
personality.
then, or
Yeah. I think kind of like stemming from my experience with you guys and then a couple other couples where you're like, yay, we're engaged. Now what?
Right.
Like
Exactly,
now
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I created this like little mini course and it's like just getting started. It's called like Ready Set Wed and it's like, determining like what you want for your wedding.
Yeah.
Like let's start there. What do you even want for your wedding?
Really.
And then like how about like what are the things that are important to you?
Yeah.
How do we budget for those?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta prioritize the things that are. I don't know.
So then you're not booking things, and then you're like,
Mhm.
so we have $0 left,
Yep.
but we only have 2 vendors.
Yeah, and we didn't get the one thing that we really wanted.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, because I think that does get really tricky. And then just knowing, like, well, what does a florist cost? Because it costs a shit ton.
It
Yeah.
does.
And
Oh
you
my
don't think
goodness.
it's going to.
More
And
than you ever
what was
would
so
think,
funny
yeah.
is I think our florist mentioned like, oh, and we're on the lower end of the budget, and I was just,
How is this
how
the
is
low
this
end?
the low end? Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
But then if you think about it, like if you go to like Lund's Byerly's or Fresh
Right.
Time or wherever,
Yeah.
like, and you pick up a bouquet of flowers or
Mhm.
even Costco, it's like $17 for
Yeah.
a dozen roses. Okay, so you don't just need a dozen roses for your
Yeah,
wedding. So
no.
times that by 40,
Mhm.
like that's a lot of
does,
money.
yeah, it adds
But
up.
you don't think in those big numbers
Mhm.
when it comes to your wedding. You just think like, okay, well, I could get a $5 bunch of flowers at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
Can't I just get those for my
Yeah.
wedding?
Mhm.
Or like assembly or like getting them
Exactly.
there. Like I don't think
Mhm.
Camrose has all their flowers on site, so they
No,
have
they
to still
must
buy
not.
from a wholesaler.
Yeah, they probably do. And
But
they did require us to use them, but I'm glad that they did because they did such a good job.
Yes.
It was,
Oh, I think your flowers were so perfect for the
Big.
two of you.
yeah.
And especially like kind of where it started because I feel like I was more involved in that process
Yeah, you were.
than I usually am
Mm-hmm.
with anything else. And I feel like from like the initial like this is kind of what we like
Mm-hmm.
and then okay, here's your first quote and then be like, okay, that costs more than food.
Yep, yep.
So,
Exactly.
so
All right.
what are
We
other
don't like that
options? And then
anymore.
when you
Yeah.
even when you were like, okay, like how about if we just did baby's breath
Mhm.
and like I think sometimes using that word just or when you're just paring things
Yeah.
down, it makes you feel like, okay, well now it's not even gonna be pretty. It's just gonna
Mhm.
be like sticks.
Yeah.
Which the chandelier was just sticks.
It was just
and
sticks
it's
with
really
lights
pretty.
on it, and it was gorgeous.
And
Yeah.
like, and like even on our tables, we didn't have any flowers. We just
No.
had that eucalyptus.
Yes,
Eucalyptus.
eucalyptus. Yeah.
Perfect.
And
And
I
it was so
remember
pretty.
when we were doing that, I was thinking, okay, well that's gonna be really boring.
Yeah, I think you
Mhm.
said that
it's not
too.
gonna be
Yeah.
what
Like
is
why
that?
even do it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then once everything came together, you just see like, okay, no, but they still know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because they're the
It helps
florist.
too that you guys had killer table numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those salt and paper shakers
Yeah.
on wood
On our little wood.
chunks.
I don't even know. Yeah. Oh,
Chunks is not the greatest
wooden-
word.
I think
greatest
they're
word.
actually technically candle holders. We got them at a consignment shop.
Yeah, you flipped them upside down.
Yeah, flipped them upside
And
down
put
and
'em-
just stuck them on top. They're just little pieces
so
of
cute.
tree branch, basically, that they would just wear
Yeah.
on top of. Yeah.
So cute. And
Mhm.
so it, like that really, and then the votives, and that's like all you
Mhm.
needed.
Yeah, really.
It wasn't
though.
like it didn't need to be this like in
Yeah.
your face
No.
over designed.
Yeah.
And people had more space to just like, I don't know, eat and lean
Grab
and
more
put
beet
things
burgers.
on. Exactly. Yeah. It's just you don't want to be like
So good.
overcrowded. Yeah, we
No,
had 8 people at a table, so I
yeah.
mean, that could get.
I think it was
Crowded, so,
perfect. I
yeah.
think if you had more stuff, like it would have been too.
Yeah,
too
I
much.
agree.
And then
Yeah.
people would be like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I don't want to sit here anymore,"
Exactly.
or something. You
And
know?
I know she had Cindy had mentioned our flowers were a little bit more like complicated because of our different color coordination and stuff, but they did such a good job.
It was
Yeah.
colors were perfect. And remember, you were like, I kind of really like sunflowers.
Yeah.
And then we were all like, okay.
oh.
But it didn't come across
No.
like super
fall, like
No.
cheesy.
Also, like,
it was really
I thought
elegant.
that Johanna liked sunflowers. So
I do.
I was really pushing the sunflowers,
I do.
thinking that she was all about it, but she was so against them.
No, I do like sunflowers.
And so then it was like, oh, Julia's
Cindy
obsessed
was
with the
not about the
sunflowers.
sunflowers.
I was not obsessed
Yeah.
with the sunflowers. Johanna likes them, and I was advocating for her.
Really, Julia, you were just like in your own meeting.
I
and
think, I think you actually put your hand over my mouth at one point. It's like, okay, the sunflowers, they're out. Just no, sit
We're
over
not
there.
going to use the S word anymore.
This is not an option anymore.
No, I think they were perfect. They're
yeah.
super pretty. I love like those pieces that got put on the dog collars.
Oh, I know.
Oh my
They
gosh,
did such
yeah.
a good job with those.
So cute.
And then she had flowers in her hair that kind of matched the dog's little
Yes.
flowers. It was all just, yeah.
And unfortunately, I like your hair both ways. Like before you got your hair done.
Oh yeah.
And then
Oh.
after, there's like a really gorgeous picture, Alyssa, of you looking in the mirror with your
Oh.
hair. Yeah. With your hair in curls or your hair out of the curlers or whatever it was. So pretty.
Thanks.
It looked good both ways.
Well,
Should have had
thanks,
2
Johanna.
ceremonies.
I should have put flowers in
get
my
it done.
hair. Don't
I
you
don't
think?
Should have.
No? Like a little, like, I don't
Like
know.
a clip, a
Yeah.
barrette.
A barrette, yeah.
Oh, you could have done a tiara.
Lost opportunity.
Shoot.
I know.
Vow renewal.
Yeah, there we go. 20 years.
20 years
Keep it
is
in
so
mind.
long.
You're still going to be doing this in 20 years?
Sure.
All right, sure.
I'll be retired. Without naming names, I feel like would be appropriate. What were some of the negatives of planning, like the struggles that you had? Specifically, I mean, there are struggles for everyone that goes through when they're planning their wedding because you don't know the stuff and you don't know where to go and there's all these costs. But specifically as a same-sex couple, like what were some of the struggles that you guys felt like were unique to your life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were looking for a venue, I think the biggest thing that we kind of our ears would perk up would be just language use on websites.
Yeah.
Because you're just not sure if if some place is gonna be secretly like.
I think that's such bullshit.
Yeah.
And then
Like
and
if
then
they're
also,
secretly anti-gay or
Yeah.
like
you just never
really
know.
religious, so they're like, we
Right.
can't accept couples
Right.
that are
Sometimes if it
same-sex.
says anything about God in it, it would kind of just because not that all people who mention God are homophobic, but it would kind of just our ears would perk up a little
Yeah.
bit, like, oh, we need to use caution. There could why would they put that in there?
yeah.
Yeah.
If
Like
there's
there
not,
was
if
one.
it's not really strong held maybe
yeah.
belief that they have, which
There was
may
one
go along
venue we
with it.
looked at that did have like some scripture on it. So then we were just like, well, let's just look a little bit more into
Yeah.
it because you never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't do things with bad intentions. So we're just like, let's just look more into it just to kind of.
Did
be
you
more
ever
aware.
ask vendors like, how do you feel about 2 lesbians?
No, we just said both
No.
of our names in
Yeah.
any informational emails and figured they would
figure it out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The biggest thing too was like the let's get more information pages. If it said bride and
Groom.
groom and there was no other
Yeah.
option, then we were immediately turned off, or we didn't even
Looking at like
even ask.
reviews was really helpful because there was like that one
Yeah,
vendor I was
that
telling you
one.
about. Some people who had experienced some negative stuff.
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
So it was helpful because
It was like warning.
yeah,
don't
because then
use.
we just didn't
Yeah, just didn't
send
go
them a
with them.
message.
There
Yeah.
are some
Yeah.
like same-sex marriage website for like.
Yeah.
Did you use those?
I think we looked at them, but for the most part, we just looked
Used
at what.
regular ones.
Yeah, yeah. We just
Yeah.
looked at what we liked and then kind of felt the vibe and.
Right.
We actually, we only met with a couple venues, and I think we just reached out to another one that was booked, and then the one that we liked but we avoided because of the
Yeah.
review, and we would just kind of feel them out in
Yeah.
person. Sometimes you can tell, just being gay, you kind of already have this like sixth sense of like, is this a safe
If
space?
people are chill
Mhm.
or
Yeah, and some people will go out of their way to make sure that you know.
Yeah.
Like Cindy at Camrose Hill, she was so sweet, and she made a point to say, we haven't had a lot of same-sex couples at our venue, but isn't it great that we
Yeah.
can have that now?
Yeah.
Isn't it an amazing thing?
And I think that is kind of the tricky part because, like, you don't necessarily, like, when there's all this verbiage, like, same sex, then you feel like, well, now you're being exclusionary to heterosexual couples.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the point.
It's like
the point
tokenism a little bit.
Yeah, the point isn't to just, like, target one. I always bring up the example, like, like, just using the phrase same-sex wedding. Well, you don't say, like, this was a black wedding. That's super prejudiced.
Yeah,
you can't
that's not
say that.
okay.
Yeah, this is a great Jewish wedding.
Yeah.
Like, also not very nice to say,
No.
So, like, it's a wedding.
It's a wedding,
Two people got married. They're both brides.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we need that caveat?
And
no,
no.
but if you want it, that's how you would put it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it. Okay, so what other maybe struggles or I know one example specifically that I hope you'll think of.
I won't say where or anything, but is it going to be any information going to be
I don't know.
listed about where?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
if you want to share,
I'll just say I can be very general.
Be general.
So the biggest worry that I had going into this wedding is the fact that I do not wear dresses. I'm not a girly girl. I never imagined myself wearing a dress on my wedding day. So I wanted to wear a suit, and I knew I wanted to wear a suit. And I've just heard a lot of horror stories, or just did my research about it, and just like you have to be careful when you're a woman, a gay woman especially, going into a place to get a suit, because it's not like you're not saying, oh, my brother's getting married, and I happen to be his
groomswoman.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just getting a suit that's kind of like a Hillary pantsuit. And it's just kind of.
You wanted it to be a well-fitting.
I wanted it to be a well-fitted, fit like a masculine, like a man would wear a suit, not a Hillary pantsuit.
Yeah, because you don't have hips.
Yeah, as cool as she is. Yeah, I do not have hips. I don't. They're not really there. So I.
You didn't want flared pants.
No,
that's what you
I did not want any flares.
Or cropped.
No shoulder, like the big shoulders or anything like that either.
Shoulder pads.
Yeah, the shoulder pads. So I had to just make sure that I felt comfortable with whoever, and whoever was confident that not only, because sometimes they would say, the suit place that you buy the suit from, maybe 100% on board, super cool, super accommodating, but the tailor, there might be miscommunication there. Sometimes a tailor will see a female's name and think, what are these measurements? This is going to fit like a man's suit. I'll do her a solid, and I'll fix these measurements for her, and I'll fit it a certain way. And I didn't have that experience. Yes. Yeah, I did not have that experience, but that was something I was just really nervous about. We found a place that was very open and willing to help, and I don't think that any stresses that went along with it.
What was nice about the place was, like, they were the ones that kind of made us aware of, like, okay, sometimes when you send these measurements in, like, they'll see that your name's, Julia, so they'll say, okay, these must be wrong measurements, and then they'll tailor it differently. Yeah. So it was kind of reassuring going into it.
And I kind of wanted to know, like, is it possible? Like, have you done it before? Are you confident? And I don't know that they had done it before. They didn't make it seem that way, but they were confident and like, oh, yeah, we could do this. We would do this, like, particular, tailoring. We could do this specific one for you. I think this would look good on you. And they were very confident. They know what they're doing at that place. They're very, very qualified. I think it was just a heightened stress time in general, wedding planning, and then also just the fear of discrimination is always kind of a stressful thing.
Yeah, which is so dumb.
Yeah, and you never know anytime there is any kind of hiccup or miscommunication or issue, you can't help in the back of your mind wonder, is it because I'm a woman or because I'm gay, or is it that, or like they just suck at communication? Yeah, I don't. It could just be they kind of stink at it, and they treat everyone like that.
I feel like sometimes there's times where most people in life are nice to me, but there are times where people are like unruly and like kind of super rude,
like unnecessarily.
And if they're over 80, I'm like,
yeah,
like, are you doing that because I have a different skin color than you?
Yeah, you
like,
can't help but
and
wonder.
I don't think that often, but there are a few times where I'm like, why are you being so mean to me? Like, honestly, like I have no other thing to suspect other than I feel like you're being racist or prejudiced or putting me in a stereotype.
Well, because then you feel bad if that's not the case. It's like, well, gosh,
then I have to never see them ever again.
Yeah.
So I have to be like, where can I go? I can't ever see you again.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think that was just one of those struggles, but it ended up turning out just great. I really liked my suit. It fit me well, and they did a great job. And everyone at our wedding party who ordered the suits looked really good.
Looked snazzy.
Yes, we had one of my
Pregos.
I was gonna say, one of my bridesmaids wore a suit, and she's pregnant. I think she was 4 months pregnant, and so she had just started showing, and she had definitely started showing more since her first initial measurement.
Right.
But they they went above and beyond. They actually made like a whole new seam in the back of her jacket. I don't know if it's because I think it was because she's short, and also having the belly, she kind of like made her back go. I don't know, something with your belly. You end up sticking it out. And she's got a booty. Yeah, so they were like
did she button her jacket?
She
I don't remember.
She did like for the photos, and then I told her just unbutton it whenever you can.
Yeah, stop smushing your baby.
Yeah,
or your fetus.
Don't squeeze that fetus. Yeah.
I feel like, from my perspective, and you can tell me if you think differently, that maybe one of not necessarily a struggle, but like something that came up that does not come up for heterosexual couples is when you would call and just one of you would call and be like blah blah blah, and they'd be like, okay, and what's the groom's name?
Yes,
just like this forward assumption, and then I feel like you'd correct them, and it wouldn't get like communicated.
No,
so
that like, oh,
this
to
Julia
people, person is getting
it would come up again. So you had to constantly be like,
no,
there's no groom.
Yeah, no, like I guess you could call me the groom if that makes you feel better, but just like
as
long as you're getting it done. Yeah, you know what I mean? Just get the thing done. But yeah, no, you're right. That happened several times, and like you said, it was, I think, just lack of communication internally to be
or
like,
just
hey,
being open.
Yeah, or just make a note somewhere. I guess even then, it's not even a note. It's just like they literally hear a girl's name and they think it's the bride calling about her groom's suit.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is also, like, my husband's gonna be like, stop using those is words, but it's kind of sexist to be like, the woman would call for her fiance's suit.
He doesn't care about weddings.
He can't call. He can't do his own tasks.
Exactly. But I mean, yeah, I'm sure that they also did encounter many brides who would call for their groomer, for their groomsmen.
Sensitivity is tough.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's difficult to, like, always be mindful and empathetic of other people's situations might not be like what you're used to as normal or typical.
Yeah. And I think there was maybe one woman worker and the rest were men. So I think there's that.
Heteronormativity is pervasive. In all of society. And we don't realize it. Yeah. But, I mean, part of that is, like, you know, I can never assume that my couple's parents are alive, right? So I don't want to be like, and for your first dance? Because then they're like, my mom's dead.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, cool, I'm just going to go eat my shoe.
Yeah. Great. Now
you know, and it's not, I'm not trying to be rude, but then, like, I need to make a note so I don't keep bringing up, like, your first dance with your mom. And you're like, you have to constantly be like, my mom's not with us. She passed away. Like, you know, that's really uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And it's not like coming from a mean place.
No, it's not. But it's just like there's already a lot of like hesitation and, you know, kind of reading places as safe or not and planning this wedding. And so to have to continue, like, I think you were on the phone once with the, you know, this place and they were like, okay, and the groom suit, and you had to, I think you repeated yourself like 3 or 4 times, being like, no, the suit's for me. And they're like, no, like the,
I know that you're buying the suit, Julia, but who is it going to fit on? Me. It's going to fit on me.
Yeah.
And so while they're not being like malicious, being like,
no,
you can't wear suits.
It's poor listening skills.
Yes.
Yes. And that's where that empathy and
But luckily, I think that happened so frequently, you know, maybe like a handful of times that I was then notorious. So it was like, oh, Julia, you. Okay. Yes, you. I know who this
caller
is.
ID.
Yeah.
Do not answer.
Oh, must be Julia. Yeah. But like I said, they still did a fantastic job and everyone looked really good. I loved the suit color. There was some stress about the suit color that wasn't their fault. It was all about their supplier and being on back order and saying that they're going to be shipping and then they didn't and all that stuff. But the color that we ended up getting, I think I liked even more. That color of navy. It was just a really, really nice color.
It fit perfect with the flowers and with the venue and the day because it was overcast. So it was
the outside photos, it really pops really
like
well.
Really romantic.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a long pause. I don't know what I was going to ask. Longer pause where I touch my nose some more. Okay. What was the best part of your wedding?
Love.
It's like maybe like second to last.
No.
I mean, it was.
I mean, I know I kind of touched on this before, but I think it's really just like for me, what was the coolest was, you know, we spent I mean, we're engaged for 2 years, but we didn't plan for the whole time.
Yeah.
So like a year of actual
probably even
solid
less because it
planning.
wasn't until we got Josie in February
and I kicked you in the pants.
Yes.
that she was that we actually were like, oh shoot, we should.
I think it's like
do
you spend all this time and energy planning this event, and money
down
and
to the
all
tiniest
this,
detail even.
Yep.
And so to see sort of this like imaginary thing that you've planned actually come to life, and then see all the people that you really care about in one spot in this like, thing that you've created is just really cool.
I always like joke about how the only time that'll ever happen again is at our funeral.
Yes.
All those people in the
really
same
though.
space.
And you won't be there.
And I won't be there.
Or one of you.
Yeah.
One of us will not be there.
Unless it's a murder-suicide.
You never know.
I'm on a death kick right now. Yay!
Yay!
Live while you can.
Oh, always a nice, happy subject. But yeah, I mean, I guess seeing everyone there, I loved just about everything. I mean, there were stressful moments. The rain was stressful, and I was trying not to let it bother me. And I think once the like actual ceremony started, I was like, well, forget it. Like this.
Who cares?
Yeah, I
It
was just like, now I have to
perfect.
focus on not fainting at the altar and like shaking or doing something weird. So, which we still had definitely some weird moments, like our wine box. Johanna couldn't quite hammer the wine box closed, and then it was on a tin table, and it just like made this loud. I was like, really loud. I even pre-drilled
Last-minute
holes.
switch.
I pre-drilled holes. Like, okay, we gotta make sure this thing shuts right away, and still no good. But it's okay. It was. But I think that was like a fun part of the ceremony. Even
I think that those awkward moments are like unexpected moments. Like then you laugh, and then that helps calm your nerves.
Yeah, oh
you
yeah,
know?
it felt a lot better.
Like if you can just be like, this is ridiculous.
This is so silly.
It was a really funny and kind of awkward moment for me, but it's one of those moments where you look back and you just like
Cute.
kind of laugh, and
Like,
in
of
the
course that
moment too,
happened to us,
it's just funny and
Yeah, I really.
I feel like your wedding was for me like top 5
Oh,
best. Like I just felt
wow.
like for me, I felt like everything really like came into place. We didn't forget stuff. Everything was set up. We had plenty of time. It wasn't rushed. Like it rained, but in my mind, like this is like the meanest way possible. I don't really care if it rains. I just care if you get married and if you're happy.
Yeah, and
and so like if it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain. Like let's at least paint smiles on your faces.
No, and it didn't rain the whole day or anything. We still got a lot of outdoor photos.
Yes.
We actually got some cool like umbrella photos.
Yeah, they're so cute.
Which I liked. Yeah, and then Camrose Hill had the umbrellas, so we didn't have to buy them.
So nice.
That was another thing that was just in the back of my mind. Like, okay, so it rains, we have to buy umbrellas. There's zero money. What do we do about the umbrellas?
Paper umbrellas.
Yeah, tarps or so. I don't know.
Well, but the rain thing was a big stressor for me. I was like, I was checking the weather like
me too.
You were
constantly.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
I even looked at the Farmer's Almanac, which I know you're supposed to do before you book your venue.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it. I was like, no, maybe it's just a fluke. This whole forecast is just
global
it seems
warming.
so silly.
We never know.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but then I looked and it was probably like
I think at
every
the rehearsal,
single October 6th was rain.
At the rehearsal, I was like,
it's gonna rain. Yeah.
And Ultimate Events was there, and I was like,
just don't even kid ourselves. Just put it in the barn. Yeah.
Because then there's, for me, logistics, there's so many other things to think about than just where
we
should
didn't
we
want
have
you
it.
to have
There's
to
the
move all the
chairs,
chairs
wiping them off. Are
inside,
guests comfortable? Is it too cold? Is it windy? Can we hear the vows?
Yes.
Where are people going to line up? How are you going to stay hidden? So I feel like it worked perfect.
Ultimately, I think, because like it started raining and I was just like, but then it just all starts to come together. I think what helped the most was that our venue was really set up in case it rains.
Yeah, right. They were so
like there was like the indoor.
Yep. It was still so pretty.
The indoor ceremony option was still beautiful.
It was still very pretty.
I think it's that, but also honestly, you guys, I think that the guests that you invited and that came were there because they wanted to support your love, and that really made it so that no one was cranky when they had to just jump down the gravel road under the tent. Like honestly, I feel like nobody cared, and like 50 people offered to help move chairs back under there, and it took like 2 minutes. There's some weddings where Josie's doing that by herself, and it takes 2 hours, and I'm like, just go on without me, guys. I'll be here for hours.
And we had people's cars getting stuck in the mud.
And
even
though people were annoyed, they're like, I'll help you.
Yeah, they were, but they were, I don't know, people were not cranky about it, weirdly. Right. And it was almost like more fun to them. Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, we went to Julie and Johanna's wedding and I got mud all over me. Yeah, so funny. Yeah. I had one of my friends come up to me and she had, like, literally her whole arm and, like, the side of her face was covered in mud. But it wasn't like, look what you did to me. It was like, hey, oh my gosh, look at this. This is funny hilarious. Story. And I was like, do you need napkins? She's like, no, I'm keeping it on. So, more power to you. Yeah. I feel like that kind of attitude just made everyone had a really good time. And we still hear from people. Obviously it's only been 3 months. Yeah. But we still hear every time we see someone who we haven't seen since then is like, oh my gosh, your wedding, I had so much fun. I loved your wedding. And it's so nice to hear that because that was our goal. Our goal going into it was like, we want everyone to just have fun. We want people to leave being like, that was a great time. Right. And because it was, we want it to be just as much about them and them having a good time as it was about us. Right. And that was our whole goal about it.
I feel like for sure this is the same about your guests being good guests is that some of them were wet, it wasn't really cold, but it was like dreary kind of out and everyone stayed late. And I think you guys were like, wait, everyone's leaving. It's like, oh my gosh, everyone's been here for like 18 million hours.
And we left before some people. There were still a good amount of people there when we left.
Partied hardy.
Yeah, they did.
In a responsible manner.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
I think they really sucked as much as they could from your wedding. Yeah. And I'm really proud of them because there are times where it's like crappy out and then guests are like peace out. I've had a barn wedding where it was freezing for some reason. It was like one of those fluke days in the summer and guests skipped dinner and sat in their car and then just left.
Oh my goodness.
Rude.
Yeah.
I can't think of something more rude than not eating dinner at a wedding because that's the part that costs the most
money.
money.
Yeah, at least come for the food. Well, yes, our food definitely still was. Yeah, our food stuff definitely still was, I think, the most money. But it was good food, though.
Yeah, beef burgers, that's all I can talk about.
It was so good. Beef burgers. And even our photographer, her second shooter, Nick, her husband now, yes. He's lactose intolerant, and I was like, oh, you have to have the beef burger. It has feta cheese on it or whatever. And he's like, oh, I'm lactose intolerant, but I'll just take a pill because I need to experience that. Yeah. Like, okay,
just willing
that's
to
commitment.
Willing to feel horrible the next day.
We had talked this beef burger up so much that he was willing to just give himself a stomach ache.
And people went up for seconds and thirds, and they were into it.
It was so good.
So that made them happy.
The ice cream.
What I can't even remember what booze you guys had, but it was a good mix.
Booze. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I thought
we had first kind of boobs did you have?
I don't.
4. We had 4 boobs.
4 boobs total.
We had a signature cocktail. So our venue didn't allow any hard alcohol, which actually was great because then it just simplified it to just beer and wine, cider.
Yeah. More affordable and less.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now I remember. You guys selected a bunch of really great beers that my husband was super jealous about.
Castle Danger Cream Ale, shout out, best beer in the world.
Yeah. Deschutes Fresh Squeezed, much better.
My uncle who brews beer, he's a professional. He liked the cream ale the best, and that was my beer. So obviously.
Have you guys been to Duluth since your wedding?
No, I want to go. I told her I want to go up there just so I can go to their brewery.
We just went a couple weekends ago, and we went to this new-ish brewery called, what was it, Blacklist or something like that. But we also went to Lake Superior Brewing. We'd never been there, and that's the oldest micro brewery in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's been there a while. Yeah.
I don't know. I like beer. I'm getting back into the drinking mode.
Are ya? Whoa.
I know, right now. My mug.
There's gin in there.
That's
water. Not water. But yes, we had what was the name of our signature cocktail?
It was a Moscow Mule.
Oh, right, yes.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. We had that.
That one.
That one. And we had...
Totally remember it.
We had some, I think we had Coors Light because everyone needs a light beer in case you're not
we had Angry Orchard.
Angry Orchard for the cider drinkers. Yeah. We had wine too.
Yeah.
So we had
we just got
black
wine
box.
Too. Yeah.
Because it's under the bar, no one knows.
Also, they poured, so it's not like there was a bunch of beer bottles around.
Yeah, they poured it.
It was all glasses or cups or whatever.
And they were fantastic. They were coming up to me and giving me they were watching me to see if my drink was low and just bringing it to me. I'm like, oh my goodness, thank you.
Yeah, they were great bartenders.
They were fantastic bartenders. I really appreciated them.
I don't remember their names.
Oh, I don't know those individuals,
Should
but
I
with a
look it up?
twist.
Oh, yeah, with a twist.
I don't know the individual names.
Those 2 women.
But
They
I
were so
did
great.
appreciate them.
What about, I was going to ask you, how did you choose Camrose then? Okay, so you're going through venues, but how did you narrow it down even? Like, did you have a huge list that you started with? Like, when did you pick a venue? Like, you got engaged and then
well,
like, hey.
So we knew we wanted an outdoor venue. We wanted something not like in a church and just something pretty. It was nice because it was in, it could be like reception, ceremony, all in one location,
It's so nice,
which was really nice. And we looked at one outdoor venue before that, just one, and we were like, this is fine. Not
it
like
had a barn still.
Yeah,
it
was like it could be
good.
fine and pretty.
Yeah.
And then I went through one of my many magazines and saw a list of outdoor venues and saw Camaro Hill on there, and then I went to their website and I was like, oh, this looks really beautiful. And so then we went to Stillwater and we just
creepily drove.
It
was set up for a wedding, so like I also
feel
hate
like it's really obvious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was
like it's
set
a
up for
residential area.
There's like groomsmen walking around and there's chairs set up and we're just like we didn't realize
we did not realize
it's
a one way.
Yeah. I did not know about the one way. So but we luckily it was like in the morning, so nothing.
Yeah.
We didn't interrupt a ceremony.
You weren't being rude.
No.
Just creepy.
Just creepy. Exactly.
So then we actually
and it
set
was
up
so
an appointment.
Pretty.
We set up an appointment with
pretty.
Cindy, who owns the place, and
her dog. I cannot remember the dog's name, but it's so precious.
We're not good with names on this episode.
Yeah, we're just
it's
not.
so good. Such a great dog.
But it's just after meeting with Cindy's just amazing and coordinating everything, and she's really like relaxed. So you just feel really comfortable there.
She makes it all about you and what you want. And
and then the venue itself.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking,
you can't
like,
make
this
the place
is a
look ugly.
fairyland.
Yeah, it's very whimsical.
It's so pretty.
It's very like cozy cottage.
Yeah.
Feel.
And we loved that the indoor option. It was so funny because we're looking at the indoor option like, whatever, we don't need
We're not gonna use that.
Whatever, it's still pretty. Whatever.
Just kidding, we are gonna use that.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything you thought is not actually gonna.
We basically like jinxed ourselves by walking through and being like, well, we'll never use it, but it is pretty.
I want to say it matters. It just doesn't matter. And you guys did that like hidden cottage.
Yeah.
Or is that what it's called?
The bridal
hidden
cottage?
garden.
Wait.
Hidden garden
I don't
for
know.
your first look.
Oh yeah, some kind of.
Fairy garden.
Fairy Glen. Fairy Glen.
You used that area.
That's what it is.
So that's kind of like fake ceremony pictures.
Basically, yeah.
With no one witnessing.
No.
Except for Josie and her turban.
Josie was there.
Turban.
Your scarf turban. You were there. And then I
love the picture of you like holding up my dress and just picking out all the leaves.
I
love
so
it.
great.
Yeah, and then I think my personal attendant, one of them, I had two. One of them was over there Snapchatting the first look. I was like, you can do this, but you stay out of the way. Trying to be really calm about it.
Space.
The thing is, she's so, I mean, I don't know. I think I was just high anxiety as usual, but she's not going to get in the photo, but it's just like, just be careful. Okay?
Meanwhile, Josie's in all
Meanwhile,
the
yeah,
pictures.
Josie's just like doing the splits in the middle of our first look in the background. Like, just stop it. Yeah, no, she wasn't. She is not. She was not in there. I remember being confused because you told me exactly how to do it, how to turn, and then she was touching my shoulder, and I'm supposed to turn around. I was like, which way do I turn? Oh God, and that's why I didn't turn. And Johanna just kept like tapping me, like, come on, turn around.
It didn't look like that.
I was very worried.
But in my mind, I was like, turn, God damn it.
Turn around. I was just
You're messing it up. You're messing it up.
Well, you showed me like the special pivot you do, and I couldn't remember which foot I put out first. It was.
I should probably not say that then. It probably is more confusing than helpful. But the dancer in me is like 5, 6, 7, 8, and step and pivot, turn and pivot, and look and smile, kiss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it was more just I was just nervous.
That's
and just
okay.
I just couldn't listen to instruction. So yeah, well, you helped me. I had to do like the nervous shakes.
Do you feel like you were less nervous after your first look?
Yes. Yeah. But then once it got closer to the ceremony, then I think that was when I was the most nervous.
Yeah,
I wasn't as nervous to see Johanna. I was more excited.
Yeah.
And then the actual ceremony, I was just like a nervous wreck.
What parts do you feel like were nervous? Like just making sure that everyone was like seated?
No, it
and
was
that people were in the right place, or just you were
the fact
just
that it's
thinking about
happening.
the ceremony?
Yeah, like oh my gosh, this is happening right now, and just
for real.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
for real.
and
Code blue, everyone.
Yes, exactly, and just like I don't know, just that trying to like make sure that I took it all in. I didn't want to like rush through the day and not acknowledge or not really just like take in the moment, you know, like those mental pictures they talk about, like just trying to like.
Did you get your video back yet?
Not yet, no.
Oh, I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah, I know. We are.
I want to watch the whole thing.
Her. Yeah, no, we'll send it to you.
It was actually just last night where I was like, when are we getting the video back?
And I'm like, but I even told her, I was like, it's been 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but also, October is a very busy month for people, weddings.
Yes. So. Well, I was just talking to a baker. They're already booked for October, pretty much.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Yeah,
May and October next year. That's when everyone's getting married.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you haven't picked a date yet, don't pick May or October. Or do, and then no one will come. And then no one will come.
And you'll actually have
save a ton of money. And also look at the Farmer's Almanac ahead of time.
Yes. October 6th, it rains.
Is that your biggest advice? Piece of advice?
Biggest piece of no, that's not a big deal because if it rains, I mean, like I said, you try not to be like you eventually stop caring. You do at first, like you're nervous and stressed about it. It really didn't because I still had so much fun. Yeah, and everyone came, like you said, people came and they had a great attitude and it was great.
And I think some of that, this is like, I'm just going to pat myself on the back. But some of that was because we had a plan and it was prepared and no one had to be like, where do we go? Yeah. Well, it's raining. We can't sit there. We're switching. Are we switching right now? You know, people get really concerned about it being perfect for you as well. Yeah. So I think if you have a plan and you have it already executed and you're like, nope, this is what we're doing. People are like, okay, this is what we're doing.
And people knew to go to you and not us about anything. I like that. I didn't have a single concerned person come up to me.
But nothing, I didn't really hear a lot of concerns either.
That's good.
The biggest concern, I feel like I did scramble trying to find the sand buckets for the sparklers, but
well, yeah, but
so that's why I want to see the video. Is that in video? No.
You scrambling to get the buckets?
Your sparkler.
Oh, yeah, it should be on video. Yeah, I was like, I hope it is in
because
our
I feel like
video.
Not that I missed it. Like, I wanted to see all the parts of your wedding. That's not what my job is about. But I just feel like I was like, I gotta get the buckets, and then I came out and I was like, oh, we're done. Okay.
Oh no! Oh, that breaks my heart. It's so
but then
sad.
usually when they're sparklers, I'm still lighting them, and I think this might have happened at yours. Alyssa was like, Josie, you need to move now because you're in all the shots. And we're on a little bit of a time crunch.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
These are only 4 minutes long.
She's so sweet. I love Alyssa.
We went through the line, and at the end of it, we're like, okay, like, did you get the shots you wanted?
And I could just tell in her eyes.
And Alyssa was just like, yeah. And we're like, should we go do that again?
Alyssa, just did you get any shots? No.
0.
It's okay if you admit that. Totally cool. Yeah, exactly. They were all blurry. You looked horrible in all of them. Okay, then let's go do it again. That's fine. I mean, our guests can just stand there.
Top?
Yeah. It stopped raining. They had nothing to complain about. They had sparklers to keep them warm. It's fine.
Your dark like night pictures or whatever it's called are so pretty.
That's
amazing.
Alyssa. That's all
Love them.
Yeah.
And I feel like at that point you guys were like sigh of relief. There's nothing else to worry
about,
and so not that you were like looser, but you could just really like kind of absorb into each other and be like, let's just kiss and like actually mean it, you know, like
not just like, okay, we're kissing for the photo.
And then Julia makes a joke, and then we get great pictures of Johanna laughing, but maybe a couple like
of me not
serious
looking,
ones.
Always looking odd.
I met my match actually with odd, because there was one where I was like pinning your brother's boutonniere maybe, and you're in the backdrop.
Oh, you're pinning my mom's.
Oh, your mom's.
Yeah, and I was in the background.
Alyssa was just like getting me. I was like, this is so great. I'm gonna use this for all my marketing.
Oh, no, God.
And then she was like, Josie, can you move a little bit? I'm trying to get Johanna in the backdrop, and it's like,
or Julia. Yeah, it was me.
Oh yeah, Johanna.
Yeah. Well, I seized the moment. I saw an opportunity to steal your thunder. It's my day, Josie. So it's my way.
Semi-true.
No, I'm so sorry. We should get Alyssa together, and we'll get you. Yeah, and we'll do the sparklers. We'll get Johanna put a dress on again. I'll put my suit on, and we'll get some of those. You can pin something, and you can get some marketing.
I'll just stab you with some sharp objects. Oh my gosh! I think that was your wedding. I was pinning a boutonniere, and the ball part of the pin
did it fall off?
Shot off, and I stabbed it. I still have a little blood blister on my nail.
Oh my gosh, you do!
Isn't that all the way? Yes, it didn't go all the way through the nail. Oh, sorry. It was just a gentle bunny touch.
Yeah.
It was like a cotton
fingernails.
Yes. I can't believe that happened. I mean, I pinned probably like 300 boutonnieres.
Yikes.
And it was just like a shitty Yeah.
Some Indonesian child did a poor job on that that pin. Is that insensitive?
Did not earn their battery for the
probably
day.
is from Indonesia.
It probably, sadly.
Just being true.
Oh.
Anyways,
that
they're made in America.
That took a turn.
I have no follow-up questions
to that comment.
That's the end of the podcast.
Yeah, it just ended there. That.
But you said advice. Like, what was your advice? I already forgot.
What was my advice?
Have we been saying words this whole time? I don't remember.
Did you hear my advice?
No,
Johanna?
you didn't say it yet.
Oh, I'm supposed to
Did
say
you?
my advice. I don't know.
Best piece of advice that you can give. Let's do maybe like whatever you want, but it can be to brides in general that are getting married to brides, or it can be brides in general that are getting married to grooms.
Just getting married. Anyone, anyone getting married. Yeah, in general.
Whichever one you want to choose.
Yeah, I mean, I think save your money. Save money, man.
For the wedding.
Yeah.
So don't get engaged until you have money.
Not even that. Just like I don't know. I guess because sometimes we would just think like, okay, well, we need to save for the wedding, and then like something would come up, and like, oh, that'd be a really cool opportunity. That's okay. We can go to that concert or whatever it was. I can't think of it. And like, that's fine. We need a break from all this stress of planning. We deserve a break.
Yeah.
But then, in hindsight, once you're paying those bills that last like week leading up to the wedding, you're paying a bill almost every day, and it's thousands of dollars. And you're just like, where was that $200? Why did we go to that stupid concert? Or
and it's not,
this or that.
Not to say like don't live your life.
No.
But just be like just maybe
be really
more mindful.
Mindful, yeah. And like, I mean. But that's, it just really depends on the person and also their financial situation. If they're paying for it all themselves, if they have family help, if they have,
Another thing with like, if you're really trying to budget, I'm trying to find a way to say this without making it seem like there are people that I didn't want at my wedding, because that's not true. But like, like really thinking about like, because it's so hard when you're planning for a wedding, you just want like everybody there.
Right. And but not everyone can come and eat.
Right. So to like really like also think about like, okay, realistically, like we have this much money that we want to spend on a wedding or something. Thinking about like each person is over $100 basically for a wedding.
Their chair,
you don't really
table,
realize that when you're going into a wedding.
Tablecloth.
I didn't realize that going into a wedding. I just would think like, oh, like $50 a plate or something. That must just be that's it.
I don't think ours cost $50 a plate.
It didn't.
Yeah,
no,
we should preface that. We did not spend that much.
So,
but there's a price per guest.
There is. There really is.
So being mindful that it's not just going to be food. It's not just going to be beverage. But if you have to rent chairs, tables, decor for the table, linen,
the linen,
transportation,
exactly.
All of these little things are per person.
Yep.
So
really
not saying don't invite people to your wedding, but the less people you invite to your wedding, the more things you'll have that you can spend.
If you just really are budget conscious, like that might be honestly the easiest place to save yourself money.
I think the other thing is, and I swear like she's not paying us, but like really though, if you can afford to have a wedding planner
or a day of coordinator
or just you can have a Josie, do it.
Oh, yeah.
Like really though, because there are just so many things that we weren't even aware of how to execute, right? Things even just like, where do I get my dress tailored?
Who would have gotten the sand
linked me to
buckets?
Jen Mar. Yeah, really though. Like, and I have friends that have told me, even just the other day I had a friend that was like, oh my gosh, we're a wedding planner. Like people
she was incredible.
Yeah, and like referred you to somebody. So I think
so many good things
if people have it, are money wise able to afford it, it's so worth it. I think out of everything that I can think of in the wedding, that to spend money on that is
really
good.
And because you not only just helped us with this wedding, I just genuinely like love you as a person. And I'm not, I just really enjoyed you as a person, and having someone like that help you in the stressful time is what you need. You need someone who just like makes you feel good. And you made us feel just so good and comfortable, and like, we're talking about some of the issues with being a same-sex couple. It wasn't even a thing like with you, and it was just exactly what we needed.
Yay.
And it was an absolute blessing. And you referred us to Alyssa. We wouldn't have had that fantastic photographer. Alyssa made the day also. I think that's why we had 4 people sign our marriage certificate, I think, because Cameron right, is because he's not I don't know why. Or maybe it was the county
it just,
we're in.
You had 4 lines.
4 witnesses. Yeah, we had to have. So we had my man of honor, our maid of honor, and then we had Josie and Alyssa sign the line. Because you two were just as much a part of that day as any of the guests, and you were probably obviously more involved, and you made that day. Yay. I remember at the end of the day just kind of being like sad, like. Like, I don't get to just, like, email Josie and harass her about things. I mean, I can still. But, I mean, I don't know. She might not be as responsive because she's not obligated,
I will. And, actually, I think I wasn't. Because I had like, so many weddings after your wedding. And so you were like, when can you meet? And I was like, I don't know what's happening with my life. And I went on vacation. We moved my aunt to Arizona, and you
were busy. I understand. And same with Alyssa. We're like, we just want to like be friends.
She got married secretly.
Yeah, she got married.
She was really busy.
Yeah, and she did such a great job. I can't thank you her enough. And all of our vendors were really fantastic, and they made the day easier.
Yeah, it was a great day. I think that's true if you. Just going back a little bit about budgeting and being mindful. And now I always say to couples, like, make sure you sit down and you have that awkward conversation and say, who is contributing to the budget and how much is the budget? Because then that just stems everything else. What can we book? What do we need to book? How much will things cost? And then having like a wedding planner or a day of coordinator that can give reality to it.
Yeah. Also kind of like prioritizing, like, where do I want to spend more money on and where do I like not really care as much about?
You know, and you guys did a good job at that.
Yeah. Food and just the overall. I mean, the mugs weren't really a part of our budget necessarily because we literally started 2 years before our wedding. For 2 years, I would just randomly go to a Savers or a Goodwill and I'd see a fun mug and I'd buy it for 50 cents or whatever.
I think this is the perfect so-and-so mug.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Or we would just be like, this is a hilarious mug. And we just put it in a pile. And then when it came down to selecting mugs for people, some of them were like, oh, this is perfect. This is fantastic that we got this for this person.
Yeah. So our listeners have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
Julia and Johanna used mugs instead of escort cards.
Yes.
Or place cards, whichever one you want to call them. Technically, they're escort cards because they escort people to the table.
That makes sense, yeah.
And so they picked personalized
mugs.
Yeah, a mug for each person. But
they're
all, let's go with vintage because
they're all very unique. No, they're all from like Goodwill, antique stores, and Savers. And there were a lot of cat mugs.
And people got a kick out of them.
People really enjoyed them.
They thought it was hilarious.
We get pictures of people like, look what mug I'm using today. It's really cool. And I'm glad that they had, because we wanted people to feel like special and like they get something for themselves.
You totally did that. And I think that because it was like such a talking point, it got people to converse with other people.
Yeah, some people were trading them like playing cards. Like they were like, "Oh, can I trade you mugs?" Yeah, like
I'll raise you one fish mug.
Yes, exactly. We had one. It was The View with Whoopi Goldberg, and she's like sticking out of a tent. And this guy, he had some other mug, and he was like, "I need Whoopi in a tent. Can I trade with you?" And she was like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Or that couple, and you gave them both Harry Potter mugs.
Yes, and they're both obsessed with Harry Potter.
She's like, "I like Harry Potter more," and I think that's why we got 2.
Yeah. Yes. No, that's exactly why. Yeah. I just assumed that they both liked it.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah. And then there's one couple I know who, at least the girl I went to high school with her, she loves cats. And we found these new cat mugs where it's literally like a cat head. And one has a top hat on it and like a tuxedo. And the other one is like an old school, like 18th century or 17th century, like dress with this like weird hat on. And we gave that to them because they're, a married couple. Yeah. And we're like, look it's you guys.
Tit for tat.
This is you.
Kit for cat.
Oh no! I knew you were gonna go there. That's why I started moving on. I was worried.
I feel like
you're gonna say that.
You totally inspired. So my husband's, like one of his best friends got married 2 weekends after you guys did, and I feel like your mugs inspired his gift for his friend, which was the dumbest, ugliest cat figurine he could find at Goodwill.
Yes.
Like, you find
cat
the best
figurines
gifts
could
there.
be cute. They can be.
Absolutely.
And they can be like, oh, that's so cool. No, it was disgusting. Like, just gross. He found 2 of them, and that was the wedding gift.
One for each of them.
And then a really religious card.
Perfect. That's so fitting.
I know.
So
okay,
fitting.
well, I finish every episode with a high five. So thank you for coming on.
Yay!
I'll see you guys soon.
Because we're friends now, remember?
Forever.
Ever.
And Alyssa, you're a friend now too.
No choice.
No, she doesn't have a say in the matter.
Okay, I was like,
Are we still on YouTube?
oh.
Okay. Do you guys want to talk about
YouTube.
anything else? YouTube gets a little sneak.
Oh.
They get more befores and more afters.
More befores and more afters. Oh, shoot. The one where she started getting teary-eyed? That's embarrassing. That's probably good you cut that out.
What did you guys do right after your wedding?
Like the day after?
Yeah. Did you open gifts?
No,
cards?
we actually, so I was worried that I experience really high highs and really low lows. Not necessarily like bipolar, but I do experience those, especially in those times of stress.
Yeah.
Like if we come back from vacation, it's a really hard transition for me to get back to work.
Actually, that's a thing too. Like when you're out in nature and then you come back to the city and you're like, this sucks.
Oh, yeah. So I knew that I would probably be experiencing some sadness.
Yeah.
So we purposely drew out opening gifts until that Sunday night before going back to work on that Monday, which I also, side note, take that Monday off.
Yeah, don't work
Don't work that Monday.
So you got married on Friday.
I
knew that, but they don't. And then Saturday, you took the day off and just were together.
Yeah, well, we had a family. Yeah, we had some family. We because we just bought our house the year before, and some family had not seen our house. So it was like, come over and see our house, because we're excited about it.
Out of state.
Yeah. So it was a lot of like, come see our house. And just seeing people that we haven't seen in a really long time, and just trying to spend time also to avoid those low lows, and like just get some extra time with people. Then Sunday, I think we saw somebody for brunch maybe that day before they went out of town. And then we saw someone for like a drink in the afternoon that day, just to kind of, just try to, and then went home and I think we had to go grocery shopping.
Normal stuff?
Yeah, because it's like, well, we still have to work.
No, but really, take that Monday off. I don't know. It's just like,
it was a tough
especially
transition.
Especially because if you have people coming from out of town, like you're going to want to spend time with them and everything. And then you're going to want just some downtime.
You need a day to just.
So maybe it's
if you're not going on your honeymoon right away.
Yeah, so maybe it's like 3 days, or maybe it's like whatever, however long. A day, you need a day after everyone leaves.
Yes, exactly. Because like you think, oh, I have Saturday and Sunday. That's a lot of time to
but people were still there.
People were still around, and and you need that. We needed that Monday just for ourselves to get our bearings and then go back. And my job was really, really nice and flexible with me, so I easily could have done it. But I didn't. I don't know. I just didn't think of doing it. I guess I was like, oh, well, I'll be fine. I have 2 days to recover.
Do you guys have your wisdom teeth still?
Yeah, or no, mine are taken out.
Yeah, mine are gone.
I feel like I got my wisdom teeth out, and I was like, I feel great. I'm going to work tomorrow. And I went to work, and then I got home, and I was like, what the hell?
No!
What happened? Like, why did people rip out my teeth? Oh, they did do that. Yeah, like you don't properly prepare because you're like, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And maybe you're still kind of like soaring on that high, and then you like come down, and you're like, oh, this was a bad choice.
Yeah, especially if you have to like talk at your job and like
move your jaw
people and like just that sounds horrible. Bruising all over your face.
Oh yeah, we're still talking about wisdom teeth.
Oh, is that what you're still talking about?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I had bruising on my face
after the wedding.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Normal stuff.
Yeah, very normal.
An aggressive game of cornhole.
Exactly. We were upset about Katya always wins, and she thought Adora wins, and it was just,
slugging it out.
Katya's queen. But and then we did a mini moon.
Yeah, like
we haven't done our
4 days
honeymoon
or so
yet.
in Austin. That was kind of fun.
Austin,
you
Texas.
went to Austin?
Yeah.
I'm going to Austin.
Oh my gosh, are you?
Yes.
When?
Like in 2 months.
Oh my gosh.
We're
Have
gonna
you ever
spend
been there?
2 nights there. No.
It's very cool.
We're staying at like Hyatt Place Arboretum or something like that.
We stayed at in a loft hotel a little bit out of town. It was much cheaper. We used all of our points that we gained from our credit card debt from the wedding. From the wedding, we used all of those to pay for our tickets and our rental car and our hotel.
Nice.
But we actually had already planned a little Airbnb in an Airstream trailer.
Yeah.
It was like silver.
Yeah, I think you told me about that part.
Yeah, and so we were like in the middle
cool.
of middle of nowhere, Texas. It's Wimberley, Texas, and it was awesome. I don't know. We were just like.
Did you go into
hammock.
Austin? What'd you do?
Yeah. We were in Austin for a little while. We went to a couple of breweries. It was like.
What's the one where they were all like square dancing?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That one was really
cool. It was so bizarre. I guess I've never really been to the South. Yeah, I've never been to the South where you like it's just normal that people are like dancing.
Get up and square dance.
Yeah, like it was just it wasn't just old people. Yeah, I always expect like older people getting up and do it. It was like young people.
Here.
Like I feel like here there's live music and people sit and drink their beer and watch and then continue talking.
Yeah.
Unless it's polka.
Unless it's polka. You're right.
Polka.
Polka. Yes. Unless it's polka.
But yeah, I mean, we were just sitting there drinking our beer, and then everybody, like, it was maybe a room bigger than this room, full of people swing
like
dancing.
This was probably the dance floor size of just swing dancing people.
I wanted to bring up Young and I'm glad I just did that accidentally because you guys did your rehearsal at Maple Island.
Maple Island
but
Brewing
you really
Company.
wanted to do it at Urban Growler.
Yes, we did.
Because my husband just switched like moving companies or whatever, and it's like pretty much right across the street from there.
Oh, is he at Move Me or something?
Move Crew.
That's who moved us, isn't it?
Shut up.
Yeah, they moved us and they gave us a little plant. They broke our TV, but they gave us a plant. They replaced it with no hassle. But they did do that.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's right over there. Have you gone yet?
Yeah, I went and like picked him up after work or something like that. But
I
was
like, and you know we live like right over there. You didn't bother to be like, come on. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I don't Google Map my addresses on the contract.
What the heck? Why not?
But I will. Confirm.
Although the one that's on your contract might be our old address.
Okay, I need your new one.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's
unless
not.
Unless you're planning on moving.
No, we don't. It's a house.
I send you an anniversary.
Oh.
You just have to wait 10 more months to get it.
Yeah. That'll be the next time we hear from you.
I was like telling Brian, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they wanted to like do their
we wanted to do it there.
Rehearsal at this place. I was like, is there a back room? And
there's
he's like,
two
blah,
different.
blah, blah. And then he's like, well, they probably love that place because the owners are lesbians. He was like, I bet they
stereotyping.
Actually,
though, like that, I remember that was actually
the Nuts place.
No, that was the so that was like the what
Nuts place.
There was like a gendered bathroom sign.
No,
that's
in Coon
And then I was like, mixed.
No, it's obviously
hermaphrodite.
Okay, update though. We don't have to mention the place, but I went back there the other day, and the signs are off.
They're off.
Oh,
I know.
She takes responsibility, but I bet there were
100%
multiple people that complained or something.
Well,
either way,
they're funny, but
they're not.
Can we just have break? I go in the men's as often as I can. Because people are always in the women's.
They are.
Like, you're taking forever. Stop pooping here. Like, go home and poop.
Why are you pooping at a Chili's? So sorry. Chili's paid us.
Chili. That is not the
It wasn't.
chain.
That wasn't the restaurant we were referring to before.
It was a
different place.
That's okay.
Yes, but anyway, so we went to Urban Growler. Actually, like, because we had heard that it was not only female owned but lesbian owned. Yes. We're like, that's so cool.
And
so we
went
really there.
Big, you want to support people who are minorities.
Yes. No. Exactly. Yeah. We wanted to, and small businesses too. And so then we also just like beer. So we went there. And the beer was incredible. It's not even like, oh, we just like the beer because it's from lesbians. Like, no, like
we made a pact.
Yeah, exactly. We have to drink this beer. It's in our secret code. So no, it's just really, really good beer, and we wanted to do it there. And there's two spaces. There's one that you have to go up these like kind of treacherous stairs to get to, and then there's one in the back. The one in the back was booked, so we would have had to do the treacherous stair one.
Yeah,
and we were just picturing our grandparents walking up. And
how was Maple Island?
It was great.
Yeah.
Although I think we had stairs to get up to our space, but they weren't treacherous.
The main reason though was really just because it was closer to our venue, and also we could like bring our own food.
That was also
budget-wise, it was much better.
Beer. Yeah, the rentals, it cost us like $100 to rent that space.
Yeah.
So cheap.
They raised it probably since
I'm sure they're like,
stop telling people that.
Exactly. And we just got Jimmy John's. Like, we got just really basic Jimmy John's.
Stillwater is like the cutest for doing that.
It's a cute little town. And that brewery also has great beer.
And the same with the liquor that you guys got. You could return anything.
Yes, and they delivered it, picked it up,
and
I
know when I did my confirmations with them, like I was like just making sure, you're doing this, and I'm your point of contact, and just making sure you're coming back, and the guy was like, yeah.
Like, got it.
Yeah,
this is what we do. and they've worked at Camrose several times,
right?
And they were really fantastic. They were a very great help.
Stillwater has opened my eyes to those opportunities because I had a wedding at JX, which is downtown, and they ran out of like tequila or something like that. And it was like on my like sheet, like from the bride being like, okay, just call the liquor store and send someone. Yes, they delivered it.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, they're.
Also, I was like, why'd you go through so much tequila?
Concerning. Maybe they
I don't know if we
margaritas.
need another bottle, but they did. I mean, it's whatever. You do you.
Yeah. I personally wouldn't want more tequila ever.
In your life.
In my life ever. Like, I'm done with tequila. I got my quota for my life, and I'm good. Check that
out. It's like Yahtzee. You got that. Exactly. 20 points.
Tequila.
Okay, back to Austin.
Yes.
So you guys just hung out there. Do you plan on going on a big honeymoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually planning on going. So we're gonna fly into London. I have an uncle
that
lives there.
Yeah, her uncle.
Oh,
he was one of our readers.
Yes.
Yeah.
British.
So London, kind of like England for sure, and I think we're gonna try to go to Ireland and Amsterdam for sure.
I really want to go to Amsterdam.
Maybe.
I really want to go to Gibraltar, but it's like on the opposite side of Europe. Basically, it's like really far south in the south part of Spain,
so
and it's just too far. Yeah, maybe if we, being super just like, we're just gonna take another trip to Europe, but next time, I would love to go to like Spain and Gibraltar.
Yeah.
But
I want to travel overseas so much, but we don't want to travel when we have kids, and we kind of really want to have kids. This whole thing with my husband turning 34 this year, it's like tickety-tock.
Tick-tock. Although his biological clock is much slower.
Yes, but sperms still get affected by age.
That's true. That is true. But George...
Oh, no. They don't run out.
Is your sperm okay?
He just had a kid. I mean, not just. He's due for a second one. But personal choice. If you want to. It's up to you.
It's okay. It's working.
Do you guys want to have kids?
Yeah.
Someday?
Yeah, eventually.
Do you want to get pregnant or adopt?
If
you can't get pregnant.
Well, I do not want to be pregnant. She wants to be pregnant. That's cool. Let's throw that out there, man.
That's fine. Hello.
Pregnancy.
Lesbians can get pregnant.
They still have uteruses and eggs, and they can still get pregnant.
And the other parts.
Yes, everything else that goes with it.
Okay, so you kind of want to get pregnant.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
What's because you should finish school.
Yes.
I don't know. That's like the 21st century thing to do.
I probably won't I'll graduate, I think it should be spring 2019. So. Yeah. And then after that, maybe we can start. Yeah. And then she really wants to go to China. We want to go to China together after our European trip. We want to do that, and then
so many things.
Then it's gonna happen.
I feel like there's so many places I want to travel to, and there's like literally
that's why
plenty of time.
When you're
29.
That's when your kids go off to college or whatever. Yes. That's what a lot of people do. They're like, okay, you're out of the nest, and then you go
I work
travel.
in hospice. I'm like, what if I die before then? And then my husband's like, please stop. Like, please stop thinking those thoughts.
There's a lot of death.
I know, it's because I work in
themes.
hospice.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Constantly. I was there yesterday. Constantly around dying people. That are supposed, like, they're planned.
It's a planned death.
It's not like I walk outside.
And it's very comfortable.
And happening.
A comfortable setting.
Yeah. Anyways, I feel like we can be done. What are you guys doing the rest of the day?
Johanna's car has some issues. We're going to go bring it to a
no.
car shop. And then go home. And then we're going to go to Menards and get things to insulate our doors better. And
I love that.
And some rugs because the salt is just ruining everything.
I love that.
Then home.
Yeah.
Yay.
And then I'm going to try an Instant Pot recipe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Instant Pot. Get it.
You should get
What
it.
is that?
It's a pressure cooker.
It's a pressure cooker, and it's
the
best. Yep.
Is it like throw things in there? But it's not like a crock pot.
No.
It's quicker?
Yeah,
it goes real fast.
Ooh, that doesn't make sense.
But it keeps it really not dry.
Really
it's like
basically it cooks it by like pressurizing, you know, and so then it cooks meat like really really quickly. So I'm making it a whole chicken tonight with like spices and stuff like that, and it's supposed to cook in like an hour.
Nice.
A whole entire chicken.
Nice.
Yep.
Every like new Instant Pot recipe is always.
I made curry.
It's always really exciting, and you can't wait.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, okay, I made like curry. It was great.
Yeah, we're good. Bye.
Bye.